8 years ago, the Nuggets drafted a kid from Serbia during this dreamy Quesarito commercial, paired him with a flowing guard from Kitchener, Ontario, and built a championship offense around their two-man game. We've seen throughout these playoffs how hard it is to slow them down. And in Game 5 against Miami, that offensive process worked for the Nuggets, but Denver's shooting left them like aliens stole their talent in Space Jam. They made just 5 of 24 open or wide open threes, according to Second Spectrum's tracking, and they missed 10 of 23 free throws, leaving a ton of points on the board after good possessions. So they needed their defense to save the day. Christian Braun has given them strong defensive minutes off the bench all year, fighting through screens well and using size to contest wings. The addition of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope gave them a point of attack defender who could navigate screens and recover to ball handlers while Jokic dropped on the pick and roll. And he showed his versatility in Game 5, playing Jimmy Butler one-on-one in the post and nearly turning him over. Aaron Gordon was the primary defender on Butler in this series, wisely going under the screen here, and his size actually deterred Butler from taking a ton of shots like this, passing out for a tough look instead. Jimmy tried to attack other players all series, but in Game 5 he often just went at Gordon directly in these actions, and that didn't yield much success for Butler, who was held to just 5 of 18 shooting on the night. He hunted Murray a bunch in this series, but Jamal held his own to me because he was big enough to hold him off. Brown's a bit behind recovering, so Jamal switches out. Then he's quick enough to slide in front of the ball and hold off a drive before Bruce Brown pokes it away, and that turns defense into offense on a night the Nuggets really needed it. A staple of Denver's defense this season was how their mobile defenders would cheat over toward the ball and then were quick enough to recover without giving up much of an advantage. This was notable in pick and rolls with Jokic, where he briefly hedged out in front of the ball handler, only to quickly recover back to his man. And watch Jeff Green linger here to overload the strong side. Murray slides over to take away that short roll pass. Then everybody can quickly reset and the play goes nowhere before Jamal chases his man around a screen and nearly blocks the jumper. Essentially, Denver created a rangy, connected unit behind Jokic, flooding the ball side with defenders before scrambling out to shots on the weak side. Here's a perfect example from Game 5, where Murray's pulled over to help, Jokic stays with Butler nicely, then Jamal recovers to the corner, slides perfectly with the dribbler, and uses his size to close out a great possession. Denver held its playoff opponents nearly 4 points below their regular season offensive rating. And if we compare that to how other teams fared against the same playoff opponents, the Nuggets look statistically similar to the 2022 Warriors and the 2020 Lakers. So, yes, you can build a good playoff defense with Nikola Jokic at center. Fittingly, the defense sparked them down the stretch, with KCP spinning off a screen, Lowry slips, and they head the other way in transition, with Bruce Brown in tow to clean up that miss. And on the very next possession, Jokic's heat-seeking hands slap it away, and Michael Porter Jr. comes chugging down the court for some Globetrotter action, and I'm not sure where that came from, but now the game was tied. Back in Game 2, Jokic was sagging off a non-shooter to help in the paint, so Miami went right into a dribble handoff to create a 2-on-1 for a clean look. And this technique of running shooters into handoffs has become a popular way to exploit big men who ignore non-shooters. So early in the fourth, Jokic was on the non-shooting Cody Zeller, slid over to help on a Butler drive, and that opened up the handoff for Duncan Robinson. But Jokic beams out to the three-point line perfectly, then gambles for a steal, but the Heat can't take advantage of it. And I thought this play summarized Denver's team defense perfectly. Murray spins under the screen to stay with Butler, the weak side defenders are pulled way over to help, Brown recovers to run the shooter off the line. Murray's there to help him. Jokic is there to help Murray. Bruce Brown helps Jokic, and Joker gets over to contest. Whew. Aaron Gordon didn't get to play help the helper there, but a minute later he's switched out onto Lowry and just destroys his jumper. And this was part of a stretch where Miami didn't score for more than 5 minutes in the quarter and tallied just 16 points in nearly 16 minutes of play. Now, no matter how bogged down a game gets, you can always lean on Jokic's offense. He just authored arguably the best offensive season in the history of the league, capable of floating off screens into three-point shots like this, and then taking opposing centers down into the post and just pulverizing them with size. He's also a basketball genius. Miami's in their zone here. Jokic goes to set a ball screen, hears Bam and Butler talking, and realizes they're expecting the screen here for the ball handler going left. So Jokic slips out to this space instead. That collapses the zone and frees up Porter for a warm-up shot. On a night where no one else could put it in the basket, Joker scored 28 points, and he made 11 of 13 two-point shots in this game, flashing to the middle of the zone for this filthy Sombor shuffle. That zone was one of the reasons Murray and Jokic ran far fewer pick and rolls in this game than at any other point in the series, but Joker still found soft spots and pushed the lead to 7. With 4 minutes left, the Heat finally came out of the zone. Denver went back to their bread and butter two-man game. Lowry's pulled way over to help, and he's trying to bait Murray into a pass so he can recover to the shooter. But Jamal keeps the dribble alive, which occupies Lowry and sets up the wide-open three for KCP. With a 7-point lead, it looked like Denver could crack the champagne, but Jimmy Butler hit a three from the corner, then came down and canned another pull-up three over Jokic, then slipped into the corner again and was fouled on a three-point shot in what will forever be remembered as the moment we all agree that officials grading their own papers is a bad idea. And suddenly it was a 1-point game. And after this Butler fadeaway put the Heat in front, it was Jokic's turn to answer, attacking a switch and spinning to the basket to retake the lead. 2 more Butler free throws put the Heat back in front, so Denver again goes to the pick and roll with Murray. He attacks the switch himself, and Bruce Brown comes flying in to put the Nuggets back up 1. With less than 90 seconds left, Butler brings Jokic into the pick and roll. Gordon is pulled over early, and watch Michael Malone sliding with KCP and throwing his hands in the air. Murray's there to close to the corner, and that's just enough to keep the lead. After an empty possession, the game came down to Butler isolating against Jamal. Jokic is in perfect position, so Jimmy has nowhere to go and throws it right to KCP. And if we flash back to Game 4, Jamal was isolated against Butler and gave up this and one on a hard drive because Jimmy likes to lean in with that shoulder and create contact in these situations. So in Game 5, when Murray slid in front of the ball, this time he moves backwards to avoid contact, then sits on the jump stop. There's no power on the pass, and it's a gift for KCP. So, after a season in which their offense powered them to the top record in the West, and they posted the best offensive rating in the league throughout the playoffs, it was their unheralded but effective defense that tightened the screws down the stretch. And for the first time in their 47 seasons in the league, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Malone's Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship. We have finally launched some Thinking Basketball merchandise. Grab a t-shirt, hoodie, or my favorite, the hooded tee at shop.thinkingbasketball.net if you're interested. You can also get additional content and access to our proprietary stats at patreon.com/thinkingbasketball. A big thank you to everyone who has supported us for multiple seasons and for all of your fun and witty comments throughout the year. They inspire me and really mean quite a bit. So wherever you are, whoever you root for, thank you for watching, and I do hope that you're having a great day.